Welcome once again to the Law Tutorials channel today, and we want to have a very brief discussion this morning on introduction to jurisprudence. As you're well aware, jurisprudence is a topic or a subject that most students and even practitioners alike do not have any love for, because they consider jurisprudence to be impractical and irrelevant to legal practice and daily living, as they think that it's purely an abstract subject. The foremost English thinker R.W Dias had actually said it in these terms, that jurisprudence is a word that stinks in the nostrils of practicing barristers. Therefore, as a student, and knowing that you're required to write jurisprudence as a compulsory course, there is a need for you to properly understand the nature of jurisprudence, the meaning of jurisprudence, and to have a right approach to the study of jurisprudence, so that you can actually have a proper understanding that will help you to apply it practically, both as a student and as a practicing barrister. For our discussion, we want to adopt the thoughts of R.W Dias, who wrote a famous textbook on jurisprudence, as well as the thoughts of Professor Boniface Okere, a bilingual scholar from the University of Paris and a law lecturer in the Faculty of Law, University of Nigeria. Let's start with what Dias actually said about what Dias actually said about jurisprudence. He made it very clear from the onset that jurisprudence is meant to be not an exposition of what the content of the law, but rather it was supposed to be thoughts about the law. In that instance, we'll be thinking about jurisprudence as an analysis of legal concepts like ownership, possession, legal personality, rights, and duties. As such, he made it very clear that unlike somebody that could ask you to tell what the content of the law of tort is, when we're talking about jurisprudence, we're talking about what is the law itself and what's the nature of the law. What's the structure, what's the function, and what are the uses of the law? These are the questions that we deal with in jurisprudence, and not really what is the element of something like vicarious liability, or element of the tort of false imprisonment or malicious prosecution. And having understood that this is the nature of jurisprudence, you will be led to understand that like what Dias actually mentioned, that as society, ideas and concepts keep developing, jurisprudence more or less shifts with it to accommodate the changes in society. And as such, he made a very important statement that because of this, someone might actually say that jurisprudence is whatever you are asked what is jurisprudence, and somebody can actually say jurisprudence is whatever you make it out to be, because of these constant changes in societal thoughts, evolutions, and ideas. In his work, he also tried to look at the various ways we use jurisprudence, the word jurisprudence. The word jurisprudence is picked up from, if you break down the Latin word jurisprudentia, juris and prudentia, which means knowledge of the laws or skill in the law. He looked at the historical or etymological meaning of jurisprudence, and then also looked at certain ways we use things like medical jurisprudence, architectural jurisprudence, which is basically having to do with the legal connection of any body of knowledge. Then he looked at English jurisprudence, which can be traced back to Jeremy Bentham and his genius follower John Austin and Jeremy Bentham. And for them, English jurisprudence was more about what we talk about expositorial jurisprudence or censorial jurisprudence. When you look at expository, you're talking about what is the law, what the law as it is. And when you're looking at censorial jurisprudence, you're looking at the law as it ought to be. That's the nature of English jurisprudence, although he made it very clear that with time, as knowledge kept on changing, the even English jurisprudence had to shift a little bit to start realizing that it's no longer as strict an analysis as Austin and Bentham had actually intended it to be. That was why there was this statement that the jurisprudence is actually the lawyer's extraversion, and it's based on his knowledge of things in other disciplines. As other disciplines keep expanding, the meaning of jurisprudence and the idea of jurisprudence keeps expanding as well. There are other issues that we will look at much later concerning Dias' approach to jurisprudence, because he looked at jurisprudence as a kind of discipline that requires you to understand language. A language, thought and language are actually very, very interrelated. So if you must be able to think properly, you must be able to master language and logic. And he gave a lot of instances about the proper understanding of how to use language. And then we'll look at all of that much later